Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am here with William McKissock from Schooley Mitchell, and we are going to be talking today about expense savings and expense reduction that drive profit to your bottom line. I'm so excited to be here with William. It's always such a pleasure to sit with you. And I just want to remind everybody, if you're watching this on LinkedIn or on the YouTube channel, to make sure to like, comment, and share. We would love to hear your feedback and certainly want to know more about what topics you want for us to cover. I was looking at the YouTube channel just recently, and we had some really interesting feedback there. So I'm looking forward to hearing more from everybody with that. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, William. Do you want to do just a brief synopsis of what you do at Schooley Mitchell, and then we'll get started with our hot topic for today?
Yeah, no, thank you. And before I start, again, kudos to you for allowing me the opportunity to speak about what I do, because as you know, I'm interviewing other businesses all the time. This is great. And also a quick shout out to you, because anybody watching this video, if you want to know somebody who knows everything about retail, you're looking right at her. So Patty's the person to help you with your retail business or anything retail related. So got that piece out of the way. What we do at Schooley Mitchell, we are North America's largest independent expense reduction consulting company. I'm a franchisee business owner with the company, so it's my job to grow the business locally and across the nation, helping businesses to reduce their costs. And the areas that we look at are telecom, credit card processing, shipping, waste, e-signature, utilities, and fuel. We don't sell any of those services. We just know everything that's going on within those industries. That's our job as cost consultants. So we have a team of staff at headquarters, over 120 at the last count, and over half of them are the analysts that do the work behind the scenes. So we do an audit for any one or all of those categories independently, and we do it for free. We only charge fees if we find savings. So we'll show a client where they're spending their money versus where we've recommended. And the client will always see a recommendation in there to stay with their incumbent provider. So there's only two options of working with us. And we will either confirm you've got the best prices and services for free, or we save you money, or fees come from a share of those savings.
You know, it's I'm going to go back to what you said in the beginning about the retail piece, because I spent 27 years in retail before I came out and started my consulting business, and have since been doing quite a bit of consulting for organizations and helping them grow and so on and so forth. But one of the big things that I learned in that retail environment, William, was the cost, was where the cost came from. And undoubtedly, every time as I was analyzing my P&L, every time as we were doing forecasting going into the upcoming quarter, seasons, and years, it was looking at that payroll cost. And we looked at it and said, gosh, what are we getting out of that payroll expense? So we knew we had to keep payroll to a certain number in terms of what expense was it to us, but it came down to what were we getting out of that. And one of the things that I've enjoyed in the conversations that you and I have had is we've talked a lot about the expense savings that happens, but we haven't really dived into that piece that is about the human capital cost of what you do, and how when you outsource something like the expense reduction that you do, the cost savings that you can incur without having that extra human capital expense and all of those other costs that are associated with it. Do you want to just elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, if you bring somebody in to do any kind of work, there's a cost to it. Employee costs. There's so many layers of cost to employing somebody to work for you. And not only that, they're expected to produce results. So even if you bring a consulting company in and you pay them like a 1099, so you're paying them anyway, you're going to pay them whether they generate results or not, because they're coming in to do a piece of work for you. They're going to produce a report, whatever that report is, whatever the recommendations are. 99.9% of the time, a consulting business is going to charge a fee for that, whatever's in that report. What we do at Schooley Mitchell, we come in and we do that report. And we do an individual audit for each one of those categories that I mentioned at the top of the show. We'll do that audit and we'll produce that report, and it doesn't cost you a single penny. It's only going to cost you some money if we identify savings that you actually accept. So what we're saying is that we're going to produce results that we know you should like, but it's results. If there's no results in it, so for non-results is if we don't find you savings. So if we go and talk to your vendors and we come back with a report and said, you know what, you're on the best prices possible. And that's what I said at the top as well, was that if you're on the best prices possible, we will confirm it. Our audit is completely free. If you accept the recommendations, we'll charge you a fee. So if you think of that as an employee cost, we're not costing a single penny. Even if you end up paying us over the period of the time that we get paid in those installments, we're still doing work. We're still going to be keeping top of your vendors. We're still going to be keeping on top of your vendors' industries. We're still going to be keeping on top of everything that your vendors up to and all the partners and all the competitors. And we're going to keep that knowledge plugged into you, because we don't just do one report. Before you pay us, we give you a report. We give you an implementation report, and then 3 months later, we give you the first of our 12 post-audit reports. That's where we're keeping on top of it for you. And that's the first time we ask for money, and it's come out of savings. So there's no cost. You don't have to fire us. There's no cost whatsoever to having us come in and do this work, because we're finding the money within your budget that's already there.
Yeah, because when it comes down to it, I mean, the human capital costs are not just the payroll expense. There's the payroll taxes that need to be paid. There's the FICA that needs to go into that. There's the benefits cost that comes with it. There's managing that individual that comes as an indirect cost, whether it's managing that individual and on a day-to-day basis, whether it's managing that individual on an annual basis through the performance review, things like that. So you do save quite a bit of money for someone to do this, and certainly to outsource it. And the other neat part that I think about it, when as we've talked, is that the savings that you provide is an ongoing service. This is not a one-hit wonder. So it's something that goes on and on and on. And the more monies that you find that you save, the more the organization ends up saving. So to me, I look at this and I just think win-win.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it, you're a business and you employ somebody to come in to do a particular task, and you keep employing them, you keep paying them every week, every month, whatever you're paying them, you're expecting them to do something with that task that they were brought in to do, to maintain it or enhance it or make it better, whatever that is. You're going to pay them a salary to do that. We ask to be paid for a period of time, but what we've done is that we've taken your costs in certain areas from here to here, and we're asking you for the bit in between. So there's a gap there where you're actually saving money. So you're spending less money by having us involved, having us in your corner, as it were, an expert in your corner. If you hire an expert, for whatever reason you hire that expert, whatever category of business, you hire that expert, they still don't know what's happening outside the borders of your business. They don't know what everybody else is paying. They don't know what all the competitors are paying. They may be very good at it, but they still don't have that knowledge, because even though they may have some piece of information about what's going on with lots of vendors, they're not actually negotiating with those vendors for other clients. And that's a huge piece of knowledge to have in your business, as well as the fact that, as we said, because of the lack of cost, we're not expecting you to pay us a salary every month, and all the ongoing costs that comes with that. You say the payroll taxes, insurance, everything that comes with that. We don't have any of that. We only have a share of the savings. We only have a share of that reduction in price that you're paying to your vendors.
Well, and it's funny you bring that up, because in my retail days, I worked with sellers who were commissioned, and these were sellers who, quite frankly, earned in many cases 6 figures a year. And it was always interesting to me, because every now and then they'd get a little tied up in when they had to split a sale with somebody. And I always thought to myself, you know what, if you've got a sale that is X dollars, let's say you've got a $20,000 sale that's going on, getting half of that, half of 20,000 is always better than half of nothing. Yeah. And when I think about you, I think about that exactly, because, you all take half of the savings as your fee, more or less, for performing the service, but half of something is better than half of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Half of something's always better than half of nothing. Because if a client thinks they've got the best deal possible, and we'll come in and we'll confirm that, okay, you have the best deal possible. We've done the audit. You have the best deal possible. But even moving forward, if we walk away at that point, the reps that they're dealing with in those particular categories we looked at and confirmed they have the best prices possible. Whenever there's better deals coming up, their rep's never going to come and tell them and say, by the way, do you want to save 50% on your telecom costs or 50% on your credit card processing costs? The reps they're working is never going to tell them that. But also they're never going to tell them that there's another company in the field, one of the competitors, that's offering a really great deal. They're never going to come and put together for you what's happening with all the mergers and the acquisitions and all the technology changes within the industry that you're buying from them. They're not going to share that for you for your benefit financially. They may share it with you because you need to know to keep working with them, but they're never going to share it with you to say, oh, by the way, there was a merger over here, the technology changed, and there's a company over here that's now selling the same product that you're buying right now for half the price. You should know about that. Your reps are never, ever going to tell you that. That's part of what our job is over that longer period of time that we work for our clients. It's 3 years, but that's a nice period of time for us to stay on top of things for you. And we ask to be paid in installments, and that's what we're doing. We're bringing that knowledge to your table because your reps sometimes will know what's going on with other companies in the field. They're not going to tell you that. Hands down, it's against their business model. They want to keep making more money. At the same difference, if you've got somebody else in your business and you're paying them a salary and they're good at negotiating, they don't know what other people are paying. They may know what some of them are paying, but they're not negotiating for thousands of clients with those very same vendors. So there's a whole host of reasons why an expense reduction consulting company like us at Schooley Mitchell brings that value to you. And it's not just about keeping your costs down, it's actually reducing that whole, we've talked about so many times, that whole loss side in your profit and loss statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny because we've also talked about all the additional savings that happens as a result of that. And I love that we've hit on to a human capital savings with this today in terms of what you all can save an organization by performing your service. So I think that is really, really valuable. And it's, I think that further, this is a topic we could continue talking about at great length. So I think there's a lot more conversation to be had about this. And I would love to hear from some of our people who are viewing this and who are listening to this and hearing some of your feedback on this particular topic, because this is one that can be a real hotbed. It can be hard to let go of something and give up that control and say, gosh, why should I give you half? But it takes me back to half of something's better than half of nothing. And then also knowing that you have not only that piece of where you're getting those savings in, but also knowing that it's going to be continuously monitored over a period of time. So I think there's so many wins inside of that. Is there anything in closing you'd like to say, William?
Well, just you touched on the employee cost, because that's the intangible side that we don't touch it, but we affect it. Because we're coming in and we're doing a piece of work that you might employ somebody to do, and they simply don't have the skills and the knowledge that we have. But the same difference, there's a cost. So that's another saving to a client to have somebody like us come in. And we're only been paid on the actual tangible piece that you can see, the telecom cost, the shipping cost, the merchant services cost or waste cost, whatever one of the categories we're looking at. So there's lots of intangibles that you and I have touched on, because you made me think out of the box about some of the areas I'm actually affecting in businesses by bringing my services to reduce costs, like the intangibles that you don't have to hire somebody to do what we do, because we do it for you. And we're only being paid on those savings. And we talked about customer service. How can savings affect your customer service? Well, the more money you have in your business, the more you can build the front of your business to look good for your clients. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on those kind of like intangible parts that we've been discussing over these last few weeks. It's not just about the direct saving from where we're coming from. It's the benefits you get in other areas of your business because you're saving money and because you're not having to hire people.
Yeah, I agree. And it's looking at that and saying, how vertically integrated are you and how horizontally integrated are you and what makes sense to add into your business? So it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And like I said, we could just keep talking on and on and on about this topic. It's so interesting. And I would really love for some of our viewers to share some of their feedback on this particular one. So once again, please make sure to like, comment, and share, and make sure that you like the channel that all of this is coming on for William. It's always a pleasure to sit here with you every week and talk about yet another topic. And I can't wait to do it again next week. And with all of that, I'm going to throw it over to Tanya for traffic. Oh, wait a second. Before I do that, William, fun fact.
You want a fun fact?
Fun back fast, because we forgot this week.
A fun fact. When I was a kid, I used to go out a lot dressed up as a lady for Halloween.
I think that's enough said. Oh, and on that note, I think I will throw it over to Tanya for traffic. Thanks, William.
Thank you.